What's going on, everybody? Day 2 commences on the 67 Ford Galaxie 500 Revival. We got a buddy here today. Tell him who you are.
Dustin, hey.
Hi. All right, Dustin's here helping us today. So what we've got is we pulled the top of the carburetor off, and you won't believe it, but we actually were able to save the old gasket. Now this thing did not crack and it didn't break. I know that I should replace it, but I'm probably going to junk this entire carburetor. I think this is a 2100 series, or 2000 maybe, 2-barrel. And it's not a terrible carburetor, but I think we're going to try to squeeze a small 4-barrel on it later on. But for right now, and for purposes, we're going to try to make this one work. So I saved the gasket because I'm cheap, don't feel like buying a new one. And look at what we have inside here. Look at the top of this float. I'm just going to run my finger across it. Actually, I didn't even get any of the stuff that I wanted to. There we go. Rusty, nasty, old. It's like that all the way down through the bowl. You can see the black contaminants in there. It is just a absolute nightmare. Oh, just fired up my motorcycle. Better rev it up a million times. So I'm thinking that our float is still good. It looks like it's up. I'm gonna pull the float out and make sure that it's not sinking, which it looks like it is. It is working to an extent. But right now I just cracked the fuel line. We're gonna open this up. Let's see if I can't bleed anything back out of this bowl. And I guess I'll pull the float next, and we will clean out whatever is sitting in there. I'm pretty sure the accelerator pump is dead. It sounds like it's trying, but I don't think it's I don't know if it's going to come back to life yet or not. So let's get this torn apart a little bit more, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we're in a little bit deeper now, and we pulled out the jets here, and you can see here, crusty. If it'll focus. Do it. You can focus. There we go. They look alright. You can see a little bit of light through them, but nothing through this side. They're caked up pretty good. So we're going to clean all this out with air. And then the first thing I did was pull the rod out of the center of this one and drop it directly into the ground. Luckily Dustin found it for me. So we'll clean that one out. And here's our float. Float looks good. Doesn't have any fuel in it. We did the shake test, it passed. Now I'm going to clean this bowl out, get all the fuel out of it, pull that jet out of the center. There's one right down in there. You can't see because the fuel is so nasty looking. Looks like cherry cola. We're going to get that jet out of there, blow it out, clean the bowl out, and we'll reassemble. Put the new pump on it and see if we can't get it to run all on its own. And then once that happens, we can move on to the transmission and the brake system on the car. And hopefully, we'll be able to drive this thing. So, let's get moving. Alright, we took the jets out in the bottom down there. I blew them out. I scrubbed this bowl the best I could. It still looks terrible. We did the best we could. The little dude man in here. I'm losing my train of thought. And the throttle, dang it. Accelerator pump came back to life. I got the new filter on there, fuel filter. We're going to change the pump out in a minute, and now it's time to put the bowl back together. I already started putting the new jets back in it, or the old jets that I cleaned, and now we can continue
Avoiding roaches.
Yeah, avoiding roaches, because in the bottom of that carburetor, I just pulled out these dudes. That's freaking gross. They were down here in the little C channel, right there where it draws fluid from. And I blew it all out the best I could, so hopefully this works. If it doesn't, I'm just going to rip this carb off and go 4-barrel. So, now let's put it all back together. Alright, the carburetor, fully put back together. Gas bottle, which is a Gatorade bottle with a hose in it, going to the pump. Still down in there, doing good. Got the fuel line hooked up, going into a Henry's hard soda bottle. We're going to turn the motor over a few times and see if we can pump out any nastiness from the pump. And if everything looks good there, we'll hook the carb back up, fill the bowl full, and see if we can't get it to run. So I'm going to turn the engine over. Where's my screwdriver? Ow, my ears. Alright. What's leaking? Something's leaking. Oh. Fuel line's leaking. Already. Great. Alright. So now we got a fuel line issue, so I'll take care of that. However, the gas coming out, it mixes a little bit of Henry's hard soda, but it looks pretty good. So we're gonna hook our line back up. Supposing I can do this one-handed, and I can't. So I'm gonna drop the camera. I'm gonna fix that fuel line leak down there real quick. We're gonna move on and try to get this thing going. Alrighty guys, so we're all plumbed back up. Small fuel leak, I kind of got it fixed. The line's just cracking. Carburetor bowl is full. Let's step inside and see if we can light it off. So switch is over here. So, oh, and you got to kind of do a weird dance with this. It's alive. Power steering's working. I'm having to keep my foot on it. I'm afraid to let off. Well, she's definitely not ready to idle. But it's alive. Not quite ready to idle. Nope, not quite ready. She's warming up though. She's getting a whole lot better than it was.
The gas.
Oh, we about out of gas?
Yeah, pretty much at the limit.
Oh yeah, it is. I need to refill this jug. We'll refill our jug and we'll pick up again, guys. But how about that? It's running on its own carburetor now. Pumping gas from its own little mini fuel cell we just made. So here we are after a little fine tuning. And it still needs some bugs worked out. I think we got a dead cylinder we're dragging. We'll see if it'll fire back up. I'm not even going to touch the gas. We're just going to hit the switch and see. How about that? You can hear it popping a little. We got one headlight working. Sitting there idling. I kicked the idle up a hair. Got one tail light. Got two tail lights. How about that? That is too cool. Next up, we'll get ready to start servicing the transmission. I don't think I'm going to keep this carburetor on here. It's still kind of iffy. But it's working long enough for us to continue on with transmission and brake repairs. And then we'll worry about getting the a good carburetor on it. But it's alive. $289 sounds mean. That accelerator pump's finally coming back now too. It's starting to work. It's touchy now. Before, you know, it was kind of iffy as to whether or not it was gonna rev up, and now you can just she's rip roaring and ready. So I'm gonna shut her off. Turn our lights off. And she is good. So now that we have it running under its own power and leaking a whole bunch of water, yeah, that radiator is done. But that's good. It was trying to build pressure. Oh yeah. So we're gonna let it cool off, and next we can start moving on to other stuff, such as, I guess, also a radiator, and then we'll get into the transmission and the brakes and stuff. But will it run? 1967 Ford Galaxie 500. Yes. Yes, it will. Thanks so much for coming on this carburetor tuning adventure with us, guys. And keep in mind, we didn't put a new kit in it. I cleaned this one. We just did a redneck rebuild. I got it all cleaned up with some simple tools. Carburetor cleaner, some shop towels, screwdrivers, and an air compressor. And we did get it to run. The newest part on it so far is plug wires, pickup coil, or coil, the points, fuel filter right here, and a ignition coil and gasoline. Everything else is the original. I did not even put the new fuel pump on it. The old pump was able to pick up and get going. So it's alive, guys, and it's ready to roll. Now we can we'll move on to the transmission. We're going to get it up in the air and drop the pan, put a new filter and fluid in it because it doesn't have any gears currently. So hopefully we can save that transmission. Thanks so much for watching. Drop a comment down below and let us know what you think on our 67 Galaxie 500. And hopefully this project will be on the road and rolling before Halloween. That is our deadline to have this car driving around. So the biggest issue I'm going to have to tackle is the brakes. I just know it. That's going to be the biggest issue, is getting those brakes to work again. Transmission, I can go through that and have it done in a day, but the brakes are going to slow me down. So thanks so much for watching. Drop a comment down below and let us know what you think. I've already said that once, so we're out of here. See you in the next one, guys.